Hi, guys. Good morning. Happy Monday. It is Monday, June 23rd. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alexis, and I am doing content on gastric bypass. I recently had gastric bypass in March of last year. So I lost a total of 146 pounds. So I will try to clip some pictures. Today's talk is going to be about the emotional roller coaster after bypass, and also uh, partly how I'm rebuilding my self esteem. I just have some notes so I can kind of keep myself together. So, I want to first start by saying thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if you have any questions, I would love to talk to you about those. I am also not a licensed professional. I'm just telling you about my experience. I don't really have a lot of information out there about the gastric bypass, so I figured it would be good to kind of talk about that. So, when we talk about what that initial thought was for me, um, when we talk about like the emotional roller coaster, so like from let's say 0 to like 3 months of having a gastric bypass, I was, oh my gosh, I was just living just day by day. I was constantly in some pain because they really try to push hydration, hydration, hydration. It's all about getting that water in because you can become dehydrated. They talk a lot about your protein intake. Um, I would say that first couple of weeks, I was just mainly drinking protein shakes, trying to take that in, and also taking the vitamins because you can also become vitamin deficiency when you do not take those vitamins. Now, you will constantly hear a lot of scare about like people losing their hair, people losing different things. Unfortunately, fortunately, I have not had um, any issues with losing my hair. My hair has stayed intact. It has not thinned. It has not been thinning, which I'm super, super grateful for. Now, my clothes, which I have talked about in another video, I have kept a lot of my clothes. This kind of goes into a little bit of that emotional roller coaster where like I've constantly cried looking at a lot of the clothes that I was in. Body dysmorphia is so real when you're looking in the mirror, and you're noticing like, oh my gosh, I don't even know like who this person was. It was a dress that I had been wanting to get in for quite some time. I got in that dress and I immediately like just didn't know what to feel. I just didn't really know what to feel, and I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, I can't wear this anymore. So I had to go get another outfit. So kind of a couple points I want to mention here about the emotional roller coaster. I want to mention one, having that feeling of grief of losing food, and also coping with going back to work and dealing with food in those environments. So the biggest point for me was is that I was an emotional eater, and I was a binge eater, and I kind of was a social eater too, where even if I had food prior to an event, I find myself going to that event and then also eating at that event too. So after you have a gastric bypass, you kind of can't do that. The smells made me gag. I felt super, super, super sick smelling beef, chicken, meats, and things like that, um, which kind of had me going down an emotional spiral because it's like, why am I dealing with this? Why am I having this resentment towards the food? I had a moment where I just hated food because I couldn't eat it. And I had like my first dumping episode around that time where I had eaten something that I thought was super healthy and it was not. It made me feel super sick. I was so sick. Um, let's say, like, how did I really, really, really deal with that? I would say number one is if you're going to go to events and you're going to go places, you need to get yourself emotionally prepared that there is going to be food there that you're not going to be able to eat. I would say eat before you go. If you have not told anybody about your gastric bypass, or you have not talked to anyone about weight loss surgery, and you're kind of just showing up at these events, put food on your plate and just pick and stab at it. Because when you go in there and you do not have food sitting on your plate, people are going to start asking you a lot of questions. What's going on? Is the food not okay? Is everything all right? You're going to be getting a lot of these questions, and you're going to be just sitting there stumped. Um, let's also talk about like that portion part. You're not going to be able to really partake in a lot of things. So for me, what I did, which you need to talk to your nutritionist about. Everyone is different. My nutritionist stated that I could do a keto friendly diet. When I say keto, I mean healthy keto. I got rid of breads. I got rid of things that were like super high in fats because they would cause me dumping. But my main primary focus was protein. So I had a whole lot of protein. Um, I found myself having to make my own condiments because a lot of the condiments had sugar in it, which is another big part of why you can get dumping episode. So I was just dealing with all of the insecurities with that, the emotional roller coaster after bypass, dealing with the food insecurity. But I want to tell you, there's light. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel. You just gotta stick to what you know. There are gonna be pressures. You're gonna have people in your ear. You're gonna have people who might have had the surgery before tell you, well, this worked for me. What might work for them might not work for you. Is the reason why I always say you want to make sure that you are figuring out what works for your body. You write down a list of things that's going to be able to help you kind of get through that, because it's stressful. I will say what else has helped me is watching my 600 pound life. Where are they? I still watch those shows to this day. I watched botched bariatrics. I watch a lot of things pertaining to gastric bypass, and I try to, everywhere I go, I try to make sure that I'm being intentional about what I'm putting in my body. I'm gonna also try to see if I can make a video on just like some restaurants, on like going to those restaurants, some things that you can avoid when you're going there, and trying to look up places that have nutritional facts. Nutritional facts are so, so, so important. If you're going to be going out with your girls or your significant other or family and you've already chosen a restaurant, pull those nutritional facts up. Pull them up. Because I did not know a very popular restaurant here that my husband absolutely adores. I thought that I could eat there. I looked up the nutritional facts and there was nothing that I can eat there. And I was crushed. I was really upset. I ended up going in that day and their corporate was there, and I had a conversation with corporate, and I was just like, hey, like, you guys have nothing here that's like, diabetic friendly, keto friendly. And they're like, we have salmon, we have teriyaki chicken, we have fried vegetables. And I'm looking at them like, that is not something that I would partake in if I had diabetes or I had those things. So I would say be very mindful of the restaurants that you do choose, or eat something light when you go. So like if you do have to, if they just have a salad or they just have like, white rice, or you have to get like just a chicken breast that hasn't had any seasonings and stuff on it or any sauces, you're able to kind of have that in your back pocket, which I do think would be super super helpful. So I just want to pause here. Again, my name is Alexis. I'm creating content on real life after bypass. Please like, comment, subscribe to kind of help me create these videos. and also give you a little bit more insight. There are other great creators out there that are talking about gastric bypass. I just have not seen any tailored videos for what it is that I have, for what it is that I want to see. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to kind of post those things to kind of gear more of that audience. And if you also want to hear me talk about some topics, because I'm still new, still trying to figure out how I'm going to, post these things, let me know. Going right into how I'm rebuilding my self-esteem. So I mentioned earlier about body dysmorphia. I mentioned earlier about just not feeling connected with my body. I've started to look at myself in the mirror a lot. I look at the folds. I look at the flabby skin. I look at the things that are just not that, appeasing. And I constantly tell myself, you're beautiful, you look great. I also wear more lighter clothes. I used to wear a lot of dark clothes because I wanted to kind of hide that shape that I had, because it was like kind of no shape. I was like an apple belly. I posted a lot of things or look for people with like apple body shapes. I am 183 pounds right now. So I kind of don't spend a lot of money on clothes neither. Like, I go to Goodwill. I spend hours at the Goodwill. I am trying on clothes in the mirror at Goodwill to see how they look on my body. And I'm also experimenting with different colors, like heels, because heels used to hurt so much when I was 330 some pounds. It used to hurt really bad. So like now I might, wear heels, or I might wear sandals, or I might do like just some mindful sessions to kind of rebuild my self-esteem. Another big thing is I used to wear makeup a lot, but I do have eczema, so I don't put makeup on as much now. So this is kind of, you see what you get when you look at me. This is kind of all that I have, but I do have like some cool earrings, cool sunglasses, and I listen to a lot of like inspiring music. I don't listen to things that don't make me feel inspired. And also, pull on your friend groups. If you have friend groups and you have family that's super supportive, go to them and say, hey, I am not feeling beautiful. I'm not feeling great about myself, to get that reassurance, because someone wants to be in your position. Somebody wants to be in your position. When I was 330 some pounds, I wanted to look like somebody that was 200 pounds. When I was 200 pounds, I wanted to look like somebody that was 150 pounds. There's always someone that wants to look like you in your weight, in your own body, the way that you feel. Because a lot of us with society, we care more about what everybody else looks like. Worry about you, what you do for yourself, what you feel confident in. That's just the most important thing. I would say my self-esteem has gotten a whole lot better as time has gone on. And I'm just so thankful. I am so thankful that I had the gastric bypass surgery. There are some things that I'm still discovering, which I kind of talk about more in depth in other videos. Again, my name is Alexis. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely leave your comments. I would love to talk with you. And I hope you guys have a happy Monday. And please stay tuned for some motivational posts that I'll be posting weekly. I just feel like more positivity in the world just makes more sense. And I hope you guys have a happy week.